So many of you may already know that large investment firms buying up private housing is definitely a contributing factor to why the cost of houses have continued to skyrocket. Yes, Trump did sign a bill to prevent large firms from being able to own private. Let me rephrase that. Not private, but single family homes. That's true, but the stipulation is if they're worth 500 million or more, right? So there's nothing in there to actually stop them from doing it, because the way that that's worded creates a carve out. So these large companies can open a shell company that's worth nowhere near that. And because they are a subsidiary of the parent company, the funds still go to the parent company. So it doesn't matter. There's a lot of ways that large corporations use loopholes exactly like this to their benefit. We see them do it with tax evasion all the time. They'll run a shell corporation. That corporation takes a loss. They take all of their actual company's losses for the year and they funnel those losses off into that shell corporation. That shell company now is reporting all of those losses. And because of that, that shell company now actually gets government assistance. They qualify for a lot of grants because, they're a small fledgling company that needs assistance. So it's a way to abuse the system. And it's a twofold attack, because now that larger corporation on their earnings statements is reporting, hey, we're doing very well. We don't have any losses right now. We're actually all profit and it looks good for the investors. So you get more investors. It drives more money into that corporation. So they end up making out twice. They get money from the government by doing that, and they get money from more investors. Even though the company is actually not doing that well because of falsifying records, it looks as though they are. It's very similar. It's not the exact same thing, but it's very similar to what Enron did. So you can look up Enron and find out about what I'm talking about with that. You can also look up the Paradise Papers. And in addition to the Paradise Papers, you can look up the Panama Papers. There's a lot of ways to subvert what you're doing to create tax evasion, to get around these regulations like this that are supposed to prevent you from essentially abusing your power, market manipulation. There's ways around it like this, and that's why I very highly encourage all of you to read as much as you can from actual reputable sources how finance really works, like corporate finance. Things don't always work out the way people think they work out. A good example, okay, we'll take rapper 50 Cent. he was asked in an interview, why is it that you're filing for bankruptcy, yet you have all this money? How can you file for bankruptcy if you have so much money and you still have all this money after bankruptcy? The interviewer said, this is something that your fans all want to know. They've been asking repeatedly. And 50 Cent said, well, it's because my fans don't understand the difference between a Chapter 7 and a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So it comes down to financial literacy, right? And that's how the rich stay so rich, is the more financially literate you become, the more you learn how to take advantage of the systems. And there's legal ways of taking advantage of the systems, and then there's illegal ways. But there's this weird gray zone that exists somewhere in between. And it's not necessarily regulated against, but it's also not necessarily on the up and up. So just wanted to throw that out there. Couple examples, get you guys thinking. And I really don't see that going into effect and really changing much of anything. If anything, because of how these financial institutions are going to move to subvert what they're doing, it actually makes it harder for us to determine that, yes, this is what is going on, and this is who owns all of these properties. Whereas if it's actually in their name, it's easier to see what they manage. Now you're going to have to see what companies they manage and what properties those companies manage. And then maybe those companies also manage other companies that manage properties. So it becomes this like a Russian nest doll of companies that own different properties and trying to extrapolate what exactly is going on to paint that cohesive picture. It's going to take a lot more effort, but I don't think it's going to actually change anything, but it will give the illusion of change. That's all I got for you right now. All right, later.